You probably know the legend of Siddhartha Gautama. A sheltered prince lives in total luxury until he steps outside, sees a sick man, an old man, and a corpse. Shocked by the reality of human decay, he slips away into the night, abandoning his kingdom to seek spiritual answers. In the 1950s, the scholar and social reformer Dr. B.R. Ambedkar pointed out a logical flaw in that story. He argued it is statistically impossible that a 29-year-old man in ancient India had never encountered illness, aging, or death. Siddhartha was a highly rational thinker, and Dr. Ambedkar suggests a far more concrete reason for his departure. To find the actual reason he left, we have to look at the geopolitical reality of 6th century BCE India. Siddhartha belonged to the Shakya clan, a republic bordered closely by a rival clan known as the Koliyas. This map illustrates the real friction point between those two neighbors, the Rohini River. Both the Shakyas and the Koliyas relied heavily on the Rohini for agriculture, and a fierce dispute erupted over the shared water rights. Tensions boiled over. The Shakya Military Council decided to launch a preemptive strike. They held a vote, demanding total support from their leaders. Siddhartha, however, refused. He argued that going to war over water would only lead to a cycle of massive bloodshed for both communities. The military commander gave him an ultimatum: vote for the war, face the death penalty, or accept permanent exile. Siddhartha chose exile. This was a calculated, rational sacrifice to protest violence. By stepping outside the system, he sought a way to solve the systemic suffering caused by conflict. This was his first radical rejection. Wandering as an exile, he sought out the era's top spiritual gurus, Alara Kalama and Udaka Ramaputta. He learned their philosophies and mastered deep, complex states of meditation. Yet he noticed that when the meditation ended, the real-world suffering of the people around him remained untouched. Seeking a different method, he joined the Shraman ascetic tradition. The theory here was that you could free your mind by punishing your physical form. For 6 years, he subjected his body to severe starvation, eventually surviving on a single grain of rice a day. He pushed himself to the absolute brink of death. But instead of achieving clarity, he realized his starving brain was simply shutting down. The physical torture was dulling his intellect, making it harder, not easier, to find the answers he was looking for. He made his second rejection. He abandoned extreme asceticism, accepting a simple bowl of rice pudding from a woman named Sujata. Seeing him eat, his 5 fellow ascetics were disgusted. They accused him of giving up and abandoned him completely. Left entirely alone, his health returning, he sat beneath a Bodhi tree in Gaya. He made a quiet resolution to stay seated there until he worked out a practical, logical solution to human suffering. Having experienced the extreme luxury of the palace and the extreme deprivation of the forest, he realized neither worked. The solution resided in the precise calibration of a perfect center point. He identified this as the middle path. Operating from that balanced state of mind, he logically deduced the 4 noble truths. It functions like a medical diagnosis, identifying that suffering exists, finding the specific cause of it, acknowledging that it can be stopped, and finally defining a rigorous 8-fold method to end it. What we call his enlightenment was the result of an exhaustive empirical experiment. He tested the limits of the human body and mind, discarded what failed, and codified the exact method that worked. Fast forward several decades. The Buddha is now 80 years old, resting in Kushinagar for the final time. Thousands of devoted followers, kings and commoners have gathered, anxious for his last instructions. His closest aide, Ananda, repeatedly urges him to name a clear successor. The followers want a specific individual to take charge and dictate the future of the community. Here, he issues his third and final rejection. He refused to name a successor, stating that the Dhamma, the teaching itself, must be the only guide. He placed the responsibility of leadership on the collective community rather than a single individual. He offered 3 final words to summarize this path of self-reliance: Appa Dipo Bhava. Translated, it means, be your own light. He instructed his followers to rely on their own intellect. If a problem arises, they should sit together, test ideas against their own reason, and reach a democratic consensus. Centuries later, in 1956, Dr. Ambedkar utilized this highly democratic interpretation to revitalize Buddhism in India. He saw a philosophy uniquely suited for a modern society, one that discarded rigid social hierarchies in favor of logic and equality. In a world that often demands blind faith in authorities, the Buddha's 2,500-year-old message remains a radical testament to independent thought. Don't follow a person, follow your own